Welcome, y'all. Oop, little feedback. Welcome, y'all, and thank you for sitting with us again under the Anukai tree. I'm your producer, Mick Sykes, and I'm here with your host,
Jip Jack on the attack. Wow.
and tonight's topic is willingness versus desire. We are talking about consent, sexuality as a spectrum, what it means to really have the sex that you want to have. Like, it's been a while since we've done a sex and relationship episode. So we're glad to get into that. Yeah, we know the intro didn't have sound. Little glitch. But thank you for tuning in tonight. If this is your first time sitting with us, please make sure you listen to our podcast on anchor.fm/Nukai. I do great edits, like special sound effects. So if you're getting a live experience here on Facebook, make sure you also get that streamed experience. And the Anukai Tree is available wherever podcasts are streaming. So if you can check it out on Anchor, or you can check it out wherever you listen to your music to. If you're listening to us out there in podcast land, make sure you check us out on Facebook every week at Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're streaming live to give you all that good info, that revolutionary tea, that love interest stuff. And I feel like, oh, right. We's broke around here. So we really need your donations. We really need your support to help keep this podcast going. So if you're listening or watching, make sure you go to anchor.fm/Anukai/support and you become a supporter of our podcast. You can donate $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, like whatever you want. Like, help us keep this going and, line our coffers with a little coins. So yeah, you ready?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
We got one more episode, y'all, left until our season finale. So we want to go out with a bang. And our first segment, as always, is the tea. So come on and sip it with us because it's hot, sis. And tonight for the tea, we are talking about, we really just want to start to begin to unpack what willingness and desire is. This is more Jack's area of expertise. They're like our resident expert and therapist. They also offer couples therapy services. So if you're interested, look them up on Facebook, check them out, book their services.
Yep.
We do it all here under the Anukai tree. So let's get into it.
All right. So willingness versus desire, right? Now I know a bunch of y'all are probably thinking, "Duh," right? But I don't know if we actually unpack the difference on a regular basis enough to define it for ourselves and to really pinpoint what it is that we are willing to do versus what we actually really want to do. Like, our bodies tell other people what those things are because they have certain reactions, but sometimes we're not actually plugged in. So when unpacking our sexual identity, it is important to know the difference between things we don't mind doing and things we absolutely feel the need to do. These things may change over time and experience, so it's also important to not hold fast to current willingnesses and desires. Okay? So essentially, you got to know what it is that you are just like, okay, I can get that done. You know what I'm saying? There's women or people in general who don't necessarily are not necessarily into oral, right? But their partner really likes oral, so they make sure they throw some oral in there every once in a while, right? That is essentially what willingness is. It's I am willing to do this for my partner because I know it is a thing that is done, right? Or it is something that my partner specifically asked to be done, right? So that's where that comes in. It's just really making sure you know the difference and are grounded in that before you even encounter a partner. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily want to have to think about something when they ask, even though that's fine. But if you can come through already knowing okay, yeah, I'm not into scat play and that's never happening.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to explain what scat play is. But it's if you don't know, then
it has nothing to do with the songs of Ella Fitzgerald. I'll let you know
that. But if you're into it, then you should know that. If you're into it, if you're willing, you should know that as well. Okay? because you could absolutely not be into scat play, but be willing, and more power to you. Okay, so the next line. Yes. Okay. So defining willingness and desire. For our purposes and as it pertains to sex, willingness is defined as the spectrum of capability for fulfilling your partner's desires, right? So this is when it's about community. This is when it's about your unit. This is about when it's about your partner, right? For the most part, it has nothing to do with you. It's not something you think about doing on a regular basis. It's not something you seek, right? It's something that if it falls in your lap, you're like, sure, okay. And it's community based. Desire is personal and based in what you want to do with your partner and hope they either desire or are willing to fulfill, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like, we can just start with sex, right? There are people who are asexual in the world, you know what I'm saying? And some of those people just do not desire sex. Being asexual does not mean that you don't have the willingness to perform sexual acts with your partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
People constantly have been asking, or they're not constantly, because this whole asexual awareness is starting to finally get into the minds of people, and we're starting to really take it seriously as a society. But essentially, like, people will ask asexual people, like, oh, well, what about, you know, having a partner? Like, you don't want a life mate? And it's like, well, yeah, being asexual doesn't mean that I'm aromantic, right? And that romance might allot for levels of willingness, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, like, I know you
Wait,
need
say that
sex.
again.
That romance might allot for levels of willingness, right? So it's, you love that person, you don't want to have sex at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, sex does not move you. You could legitimately not have sex your entire life, right? But having sex with this person is important with you, to you, because they find sex important. And no tea, no shade, having somebody desire you for sex always feels good. Whether, like, you know what I'm saying, especially if it's somebody you want. Whether you want them to desire you for sex or not, if you want them and they desire you for sex, it's like, that's nice. I don't necessarily want to fuck you back, but I will, right? Desire is like somebody like me who's hypersexual, you know what I'm saying? And when you get around somebody as fine as they, it's like, is we fucking or nah? Right? Like, fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck? Right? So, that just is what it is. I have that desire, right? Other people have varying levels, right? It's a spectrum. It's never going to be like there's no one way to be, there's no one answer for this thing, right? And what we are trying to do with this is break the cis heteronormative idea that there is this, like, cookie cutter carbon copy, like,
Because it's not. We're
ideal.
all different. Like,
Yeah.
the universal creator made us all different on purpose, and we have different wants. We have different needs sexually, and like this colonial society sort of like suppresses that in us and makes us question our own innate desires. Like, it starts with desire. Like, this is something like we talk about often when we talk about in regards to like sexuality, and then like people frame, well, like, children don't, like, if you're 5, you can't know that you're gay because you can't know what you want at 5. But like, attraction and desire starts at a very early age. Like, your wants and needs
Right.
even as a toddler. Like, even before you're able to verbalize things, like, when you feel a hunger pain, so you know that, like, when you receive nourishment, that goes away, so you associate with that with the need of food.
Right.
Same thing with, like, you look at a person, you're like, I'm having feelings.
Right.
I can't explain. Or like, maybe you can.
Right.
Like, you might be one of those people, one of those kids that knows exactly what that is.
Yeah.
And tunes into that. And so like
That was me.
desire is like the first step. Like human beings, mammals understand desire at like a very base level.
Yeah. Desire is like one of the first things you learn. One of the first things you learn, And I mean, sometimes in a colonial context, what you don't desire is the first thing you learn. But
before you get into that, one thing I forgot. Like, if you are watching us, make sure you love this post, like it. Loves get much further, so share this post. Like, hashtag shared when you shared it. If you're watching us out there on Facebook land, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know anytime we post a new video on our page. We all over. So make sure you share this and let the people know what's going on out there. Um, and yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about willingness versus desire. But like you were
Yeah.
about to hit on something very poignant, so go ahead.
Shit.
We were talking about desire as like a base level and a
Right.
base need.
So yeah, just like for the most part, like you learn what you desire first, right? Just to fortify what Nick Sykes was saying. You learn about your desires first, right? And sometimes in a colonial context, you'll learn about what you don't desire first, right? But at the end of the day, this is a little bit of an aside. I need my people to realize that just because somebody didn't teach you something directly didn't mean that you didn't learn. Doesn't mean that you didn't learn that thing, right?
Mm.
We have this thing where when it comes to raising children, when it comes to having relationships, when it comes to having sex, right? We think about what it is that was taught to us directly and then be like, oh, like I never had this, so how could I give this, right?
Mm.
And it's like, you know what hunger feels like. So just because when you were a child you didn't have food in abundance, you're going to not give your child food in abundance if you have the capability. You're not going to work to make sure that that child doesn't ever have to like live without an abundance of food to your best in this colonial society. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to make sure that that happens to the best of your ability, or you want to just be like, I didn't have food.
Because if you don't, what we call that is pathological trauma. You are
Right.
passing that it was good enough for me, so it's good enough for them. But was it good enough for you?
Was it good enough for you? So we have to make sure that we like understand what's good enough for us. And this is again based on willingness and desire. And if one thing you learned by knowing what it is that you did not like, you learned that there is something that you like out there. And to me, try anything. Anything. I would rather, again, when it comes to raising kids, I would rather you try anything but what your parents did, especially if what your parents did fucked you up. Try anything else. Okay?
But that also involves recognizing that you might be fucked up in some sort of way. It's like Julissa, like one of the hosts of Ladies Who Branche, who was on a guest on our show last week, talked about was talking about dating and talking about like analyzing that like some part of your preferences may be like fucked up or steeped in some fucked up, like some part of your preference may be steeped in homophobia or transphobia or toxic masculinity. Like, and you have to like as an adult and as you like grow and you learn more about yourself and your sexuality and your own wants and your own needs, like you have to start to think about those things. And look, speak like I want to speak of the angel.
Lisa,
hey, how you
¿cómo
doing?
estás, mami? Miss you.
Yeah, make sure you check out Ladies Who Bronche, like a wonderful like podcast that's out there. Like, oh, I still have the little, and just in case you were confused on how to spell it, it's right here.
Boom.
So like they everywhere. So make sure you check them out because that's really really dope podcast that like we partnered with.
And honestly, I just love hearing Jaleesa talk. Like Jaleesa's voice is like the kind like is that like that black woman auntie that is wise. You know what I'm saying? Like that black auntie that's wise as fuck but is dumb real. Like she gave you your first shot as soon as you turned 21 and then said, "But bitch, don't you dare be around them niggas too drunk." You know what I'm saying? Like
this is
that.
like the Dominican, like what do you call it? Jennifer Lewis.
Ashe. And yes. Like I could watch any live that she does and anything. And the Ladies Who Bronche podcast with her and Skittles is really great, hilarious, and super informative.
Alexiota said, "This is a great conversation, and I'm here to tune in and learn. And we will be teaching tonight."
Anyway, so yes, yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. So yeah. All right, next slide. You on?
I am bugging out.
Boom, right? So now that we have it defined, let's understand
make
it.
this big so they can see it.
Willingness and desire understood. Both are on and have their own spectrums, right? So they are on a spectrum in and of themselves as depicted, right? Whereas willingness is kind of the negative version of desire, right? You got your desire, then you get to zero desire, and then you can probably, if you go further left, if you will, there'll be some willingness up in there. And then if you go even further past it, then it's the absolutely not, right? But willingness has its own spectrum and desire has its own spectrum, right? So if you take literally this spectrum from the zero and make two separate spectrums and put zero in the middle of those and have the integers going on either side, then you would be able to understand the spectrum. I encourage you to, if you don't, if you're a visual person, get you a number line, right, and
Oh.
do it yourself. If you are a person that can do it in your head, like me, do it in your head, envision that number line, and be like, all right. So what am I willing to do versus what I'm not willing to do?
And there's ebbs and flows. Like we want to like also just let you know, like spectrums are not as static as number lines, like as like this visual, like things flow back and forth,
Right.
especially with things like sexuality and desire and what like and what and
It'd be based on how you feel that day and all kinds of things like that. But in terms of defining your sexuality, what you want to do is go for the constants, right? So like, I like dick. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe that's going to change anytime soon. Um, I have a dick. That makes me a homosexual. That means I have homosexual desires, right? So that just is what it is, right? Now, you know, not to throw your tea all out in the webs, but Pat's pansexual, right? We mentioned in a 2 episodes ago that we be doing the threesome thing. If Pat ever said to me, you know what, I just need a cis woman in my bed, right? I am willing to not only let that happen, but to participate.
really?
Would I? Yes.
Oh, I didn't.
Would
I
I,
didn't know.
participate? Would I participate? Again, that it grew to that.
Okay.
Would I participate with a cis woman on my own? Nah. No. Therefore, I have no desire for cis women. Pat does not necessarily desire cis women. This is where we were talking about the ebbs and flows, right? Does not necessarily desire cis women on a regular basis, like on an everyday situation. If it happens, she knows that, like, yeah, like, you know, sometimes bitches are sexy. You know what I'm saying? And that's is what it is. And I can relate. I know that bitches are sexy. It doesn't do nothing to my loins, but I can point out a sexy bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Don't do nothing for me down now.
You know what I'm saying? But I can point her out. Okay.
For me, like my pansexuality is like I identify as pansexual because like I don't like gender is like the last thing I think about when it comes to sex. Like if I like am attracted to you, like that's what I'm going with. Like whether like you're cis or trans or gender nonconforming, I'm just like, oh, you're like an interesting person. Let me like get into that. But I say that to say it's like with like women specifically and cis women who aren't like queer, it's more like white girls that like would get drunk at a bar or whatever and be like, let's make out.
Right.
Like I don't tend to um direct myself or like direct my energy towards being in like romantic relationships with cis women. Like I'm very much homo romantic. And that way like I tend to have my relationships with men. Um but like and I don't often desire explicit like cis feminine energy, but I do seek feminine energy like in my men. Like I don't like straight up thug like that's not like I like my men like a little soft, a little you know, a little pink. Like and that like
I'm a thug, so I don't know.
Okay, Jib Jack is a thug, but Jib Jack is like an R&B thug.
Don't you?
Like they will be thuggish in
Don't
the
you
streets and
jacquees
sing
me.
sweetly to you at night. So don't let them don't let them.
I'm hard. Pause. This is a sex episode, so you gotta pause that.
Alexia says, I agree with both of y'all, 100.
Right? So yeah, I love it. Thank you. So yeah, like, you know, and that just makes everything to me like clearer. It makes what you're coming to the situation with a lot clearer. You know, I think that a lot of people would be in longer relationships if they just said, hey, so I have a desire for blah sex, right? And your desire for that sex doesn't mean that you've even ever had that sex. Do you understand? Like when we talk about cis heteronormativity, hey Tony, when we talk about cis heteronormativity, right? Cis heteronormativity sets up a lot of rules, even for people that do not fit in that
Oh
cis
God,
or
there's
hetero
so many
banner,
rules to being
right?
straight.
Like, even if you don't fit
So
in
many
those
rules.
banners, even if you're not cis or heterosexual, you still probably follow and adhere to many rules of cis heteronormativity. Many being just straight up what it is that you desire sexually being out there. There's no reason that the almighty creator deity of all of us decided to put a prostate in the asshole of a man and you're not supposed to get any penetration up there. Like,
But you
now,
know,
if you don't desire it, if you tried it out, if someone tried to tickle it and that didn't even feel good, you know what I'm saying? To tickle the whole little bit, a little bit, and that didn't feel good, then
but since you said that,
but don't be blocking your blessings. If a bitch is like, let me strap it up and like get your pounds in, my nigga, you
if
should be
you're a cis heterosexual man that figured out where your G spot was at some point in your sexual exploration, and you want to get pegged, that means like if you like desire like women like strictly sexually, romantically, and you want your girl to like put on a strap on
and
and like hit
pound
that
you to
spot,
kingdom
that is
come.
not gay because like you would never even think of a man doing it
Right,
or like receive pleasure from a man doing like you want
right.
that spot hit, but you know who you want that spot hit by, and that's where like
And that's the difference. That's where like that desire meets who you desire, right? There's the what and the who, right? So you bring that together, boom, you can define your sexuality through there. You are again no less straight for wanting to get something up your butt as someone who's never had anything up your butt, right? So it's just that simple, right? We have been blocked from our desires so much. Women are literally made to act as though they're sexually like tempered, you know what I'm saying, and sexually like prudent in order to like be seen as
that's
valuable.
colonialism.
Right, exactly. But at the end of the day, yeah, but that colonialism, that's colonialism via cis heteronormativity.
Activity,
You know what I'm saying? Like
like
cis
having that as
heteronormativity.
the default.
Right. So at the end of the day, y'all are like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? There's bitches that I know in the back of their head, they love giving some head.
Wait,
Love it.
that you said that. So how can people get closer to having like the sexual experiences that they desire? Not that just that they're willing to participate in, but they desire without like that shame
Mm.
that is ingrained into our society associated with it. Before you answer that, I'm
Okay.
gonna do something highly impersonal. I have to pee really bad, y'all. So
How
I'm gonna go
dare
pee.
she? She's
I'm gonna
leaving the
edit this.
mic.
I'm gonna go edit this out, but I'm gonna let Jib Jack speak.
We're keeping it
I
in.
have to pee, and I cannot
The
hold it.
streaming world has
I
to
cannot do
know
the
what
rest of
has
this show
gone down
comfortably.
on this day.
But I really do want you to speak about that, and
Yeah.
I can hear. We don't have a huge apartment, so I can hear them.
Right. And it's not like we haven't talked about it. Okay. So, how you let go of the shame associated with your sexual desire. Who it's a journey. It's a journey. I would say personally, it would be easier for me. Now, I don't have no sexual hangups, but it would be easier for me to one have a person there that's going to be able to notice the hangups and be like, okay, there's something a little there because again, like we said earlier, sometimes you don't even know what's going on. Sometimes you don't notice what's happening within you, how you're triggered, what I'm saying, what even is the core of that trigger or any of that, right? So sometimes it helps to just at least have a partner there, even if it's just a sexual partner. Since we're talking about sex, if you found you a fuck buddy that you can talk to earnestly about y'all sexual experience, then this is a good person that could help you with realize that there is something about the sex that you're having that is not associated with the sex you desire, right? And that you've been having willing sex, right? That is the first step. Deducing, right? Whether something is from your will as a desire situation or as a willingness to perform for this partner, right? Deducing that is number one, right? If you as a person really, really don't like giving head, really, and you know what I'm saying, your partner wants head and you've done it over and over again and you realize that, then you realize that, right? But then go in deeper. What do you like, right? What is it that you've gone through that might shape what you like? What is it that you might feel like you have to define these things? Defining them helps the shame, I promise.
I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to kind of dig into that part that you just said. Like, if you don't like giving head, for example, like oral sex, and that goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like that could be cunnilingus, that could be
Or
fellatio,
fellatio or analingus.
um, analingus, and that is something that your partner requires. Like there is a dude out there, and we're probably gonna do a bonus episode about this. There's a dude out there that's on reality TV that wanted like head, like oral sex, like fellatio from his wife every day, and his wife was not willing to do that. And he went outside the marriage to get that. In that situation, what do you feel like could have been done, especially like when one of the partners is just like, hey, I can't do, I'll do it, but I can't do it every day, and like they literally desired it every day, and it was like I would suppose if they went outside the marriage, it was a need for them.
Right.
So like, what do you do in those kinds of situations?
Well, honesty is the best policy.
Oh, and we see your comments. We're gonna get to them.
We're gonna get to that.
In our next, we have a whole segment dedicated to your comments.
And we'll be able to have you guys come on too if you want to come on and talk. We will allot some time for you guys to come on and talk. You will be on video, so yeah, come through. Phew. Okay, so honesty is the best policy. Y'all keep talking about it. You keep asking. Put it into context. This is the thing that I feel like a lot of couples don't do. They say, "Hey, so I need this," and then the person gives their response, and that's that, right? Now, some people don't necessarily like having long, arduous conversations, don't necessarily like hearing people talk for a long amount of time, don't necessarily want an in-depth explanation. But if you're building a unit, specifically if it's a relationship, if you're building a unit, and no tea, no shade, if you're even indulging with a fuck buddy, there's a unit building there that's happening. Y'all might not be a romantic unit, y'all might not never live together, you know what I'm saying, or whatever have you, but there's a unit building happening there. So sexual unit building, but nonetheless, right? So if you're building a unit with a person, you need to be communicative enough to be like, okay, this is what I need, and here's what it does for me. Here's what it sets me up for success like, right? Personally, I'm very sex motivated. Some people food motivated, most people food motivated. I literally be forgetting to eat sometimes. So, and it's not because I think I'm fat or, you know what I'm saying, like I don't have like an eating disorder, you know what I'm saying, but it's just like, and like food doesn't like do me like that. Like food is not the thing that gets me up. Sex motivates me. You want me to really get my career popping? Fuck me all the time. And that's just it. So I'm not gonna say, hey, I need sex a lot. No, I need sex a lot because it supplies my balance. I need sex a lot because I'm a sex witch, and if I don't got sex, then this da, 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 da. I need sex a lot because this da, 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 right? So if you're just being like, I need sex a lot, then all you're doing is leaving it up for that answer to be what it is, and whatever that answer is, you're gonna accept if that is your wife, and you have said and mean till death do us part, and you do not go outside that relationship even if it is a need. If it's a need that you need fulfilled, and y'all can't compromise on something in house to get it done, if you are prioritizing the marriage over your need, then the marriage wins. Period. Then the marriage wins. Okay. Now, if something starts to feel exacerbated, you got to give things some time. You can't be sitting there like, okay, well, she said no to head every day, so right now I'm gonna go get head from this bitch. Give me head every day. No, she said no to head every day. She told me why she said no to head every day. I told her why I need head every day, or would like head every day, or have desires for head every day, and it didn't necessarily move her. That's my wife, and I want my wife more than I want head every day. I'm going to sit on this. Now, what 9 times out of 10 will happen is
should have been sitting on something.
Build-ups start to happen, right? And you start to be feeling a build-up of that lack, right? So then months down the line, you might make a fucked up decision. Instead of doing that, babe, at least for this month, can you please suck my dick every day? Please. Like, I'm actually like suffering right now. And then that leaves her to be like, nigga, suffering will make it make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And now you get to make it make sense to her. And I promise you, a wife that loves you, a person that loves you, if it makes sense, they're gonna find a way, even if it's not them doing it. Then you can be like, okay, if you really can't, I think it would benefit us if I literally go see this bitch to have head. And I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna have to throw some dick her way because like it's not fair for her to just be giving me head. And if I'm not throwing dick her way, then I probably should pay a rent or something like that. Right? And
And
you
if y'all
talk
got
about
it,
that
y'all can
y'all
work
got
that
it.
out. Like, okay, I don't know about the rent paying thing, maybe a bill or two. Like, y'all can have that discussion if like if the unit the is perfect if preservation of a unit is what you have in mind. We had that discussion today about something unrelated to like sex, but like I got my national ways and I'm trying to work with y'all. Like, I'm trying to be a better fiance. But
Let's
Alex
get
is
to
a
these comments.
fool. After let's get to these comments in our next
Gonna have
segment.
to throw a little dick. Gotta throw them some dick. I'm sorry, head is work. Y'all know what it is, the jaw? Head is work.
Oh,
Why do we
see,
be doing that?
when you talk, it cuts it off.
Oh.
Oh, y'all can't hear none of this. I should have stopped. Y'all can't hear the music. So this
Y'all
is the
probably heard
key.
it through the mic though.
Excuse me. So this is the key. And this is where like we get to your comments and we answer some questions. We like joke together about a few little things. If you're watching us live right now out here in Facebook land, I have dropped the link to the StreamYard in the comment section. So if you want to join us live on air and share your point of view on camera, click that link. We'll let you in, and like we'll have a few minutes like to key about some things that we've been talking about. You can share your opinions and your thoughts. And if you don't want to, that's cool because we're gonna keep going because this is a show, baby.
Right.
Um,
And I'm entertaining, so I don't need y'all. Let me stop.
let's get to these comments. So because we have some comments for this key section.
I see some good comments.
All right. So the first comment, you want to read that?
Yep. It's very interesting
Oh,
because
who read that
this
comment?
is Alexia. Tell me, I'm sorry, I do it in French and I want to go Alexia. So Alex, I don't know. Anyway, so it's very interesting because I had an awkward dream 3 days ago about two cisgender women that they were trying to seduce me in this house party. And I had to inform them that I am gay, and they were insisting to try to have sex with me. Where even though I love women and respect them because they do bring us to this earth to breathe life, but me personally, I never ever see women sexually attractive. That's just my preference, and I too would like that to be respected just as anyone else. Ashe.
Asha.
And I mean, to add, I don't really got nothing. I mean, we can talk for a hot second about how there do be women, right? So we talk a lot about the men that like see lesbians and be like, "Ooh, if you would just have, if you got the right dick, or if you would just let me put it on you, right?" Let me take you back. Once upon a time, there was a little a trans, two spirited nigga named Jack. Let me stop. That's a Wendy Williams reference.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Jack.
Right. And at the end of the day, I'm walking to Harlem School of the Arts from the motherfucking train station from LaGuardia High School. I'm a whole teenager.
Oh, I've heard
this
story.
old ass woman literally comes up, and I don't mean old ass like she was elderly. I mean old ass as like I'm fucking 15 and she's anywhere above 30. And when you're 15, anywhere above 30 is like ancient. You're like, bitch. Right? So, and I was no teen, I said I was fucking 30 old niggas. You know what I'm saying? But, they were also still ancient to me in my eyes. It's fine. So, end of the day, she's like, "Oh, I know," and you know how sometimes when they crotchety, they have like they speak right on their throat. I know you gay, but you fine. I don't give a fuck. You should let mama give you a ride. I'll turn you out. I was like, is she shaking titty? Up here on 145th and motherfucking Saint Nick. Is she shaking titty right now? And I was like,
titty before you.
I don't even know what to do. I'm like, you right, miss, I'm gay and I have no interest in giving you that shot. Sorry. You got a husband? You can talk to him. And I literally said that to her. She was mad. But it's like, no, you literally assaulted me just now. Like that was sexual harassment, bitch. So like, fuck out of here. You just assaulted me. Don't play that, right? So yes, you should have your homosexuality respected. You know what I'm saying? And outside of women, cis women trying to hit on you. I hope that doesn't happen in real life. I hope, you know what I'm saying, like, know what I'm saying? You almost see it, who knows, right? If you were seeing something in the suit, right? But hopefully you weren't seeing just then, and people respect you and leave you alone. But let's even take that deeper into the respect that you have and get from like your partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just make sure you're not like only having the sex you're willing to have and are indeed having the actual sex. Yeah, we know that you won't have it with men, but the actual sexual acts that you desire, right? That's what we really want to make sure we zero in on.
Chad's like, are y'all on the beach in space? No, this is the shade from under the Anugai tree.
Yes.
It's a cool blue, tender shade.
Because the sun on the planet Anukai is a different color. So just, we're in the Andromeda system somewhere. It's fine.
We have a question from Julissa. This is actually the first part of the question. Sorry. Okay. So the question from Julissa is, what are your thoughts about on cis folks who are open to having sexual fun with someone of the same sex but have no passion or desire to do so one on one? I've been thinking a lot about labels and how the claim straightness feels like holding onto colonialism. But I also know my experience endures none of the oppression that the queer community has, and so I would never use self-identifying language that co-ops.
This is why we love Julissa, by the way.
And she went on to say, AKA, how does one identify if their openness is still tied to a pleasure rooted in experience, i.e., I would let a girl fuck with
would let a girl fuck with them, but even after exploring, have zero desire to please the person of the same sex back, and would only do it for equity's sake. So essentially, you talk about me and this potential threesome situation with me, Pat, and some girl, right? So I can come from a relation standpoint in this. Okay, sexuality is fluid. Period and point blank, right?
Spectrum, not a line.
Spectrum, right? Spectrum, not a binary, right? Because like even if it's on just the number line, that thing doesn't necessarily connote stagnancy, right? Like number lines don't necessarily connote stagnancy. They connote the fact that something falls within a ratio between two extremes, right? And could potentially include and be exactly on either extreme or dead center, right? And the thing that makes people think number lines like as stasis is because we don't see them moving and you don't see them change much, but essentially you just have to make a new number line to represent what you are today, and then another one to represent what you are tomorrow, and etc. Right? So that being said, as said in the beginning, experiences can and often do change what it is that you are willing to do and desire, right? As much as I like labels, a labelless society is what we really need eventually.
Eventually.
Right?
We're not there yet because of colonialism.
Right now, what we need to do right now, what we need to do is be really strict with labels, right? So if you are not straight, right, and you wouldn't mind a woman eating the box, cis woman eating the box, right, and would eat the box in return, willing to eat the box in return, don't necessarily desire because it's play. Don't necessarily desire that you're polite. Doesn't necessarily desire. Don't necessarily desire that she eat the box at all. Don't necessarily desire to eat the box for her, but she in the room and she felt like eating the box herself. And is it good? Sure. Right? That's fine. You could, as a cis woman, technically, still identify as straight. Cis women have this privilege of bisexuality without having to call it that.
I don't know if it's a privilege. I think it's more like cis. No one cares about the desires of cis women. So like whatever they do sexually is sort of taken as like moot.
Well, any privilege.
Well, in the colonial society, like in white Western society, like they don't care about women's desires.
Any privilege that an oppressed person also comes with its oppression.
True.
So when I say privilege, to colonized people specifically, that is not to erase the literal oppression that comes with the privilege, right? It is a privilege because nobody bothers you holding a hand with a woman. Nobody even assumes that you're gay, right? But that also is fucked up because it's based on the objectification of your body, right? So it's like the give and take of it all. But at the end of the day, the give of it is that you can absolutely consider yourself straight and not have to change that for anybody, right? Now, I like the word heteroflexible because that it literally is what it is, right? Like there might be a bitch that you're like, yo, she's cute as fuck.
Can I say something? Because we all have that person we would go the other way for. Me as a pansexual, that concept doesn't really exist. But like, I love this nigga. This nigga fine. I'm very attracted to this person, this them. This, like, I'm attracted to her. I'm attracted to him. Like, they really like and like give me both sides of what I need as like a person that is pansexual. Now, if I ever ran into Rihanna, if we ever ran into Rihanna one night, I'm gonna be like,
I'm fucking.
If you're not down, I'm doing this.
I'm fucking. Are you kidding me? Okay,
we all have a person. Like most people, like it's somebody like The Rock. Like it's like you could be a straight man. Like if The Rock, if do that thing at you, you really gonna turn it down, nigga? Use a fucking
use a lie. Use a lie. Use a lie and a half. Use a whole lie. Like I can't believe it. I'm sorry. Rihanna is sexy as fuck. That twerking gift, I'm like, bitch, I didn't know the ass was like that.
And I didn't know how she got that ass thing. No, Rihanna, like, and I'm not into Pisces. Like, Pisces are like one of the signs that I do. But Rihanna.
But that's the other thing. Pisces got good pussy. It's really hard. Like, it like when it comes when it comes to bottoms too. When it comes to bottom males too, like I haven't topped in a while. I don't want no Pisces because when y'all get good dick, y'all are crazy. But at the end of the day, that crazy ass bonsoir. Lord have mercy. So I'm here for it. If Beyonce came down and was like, all I need from you is the dick. Who am I? To tell Queen that she can't have what she wants?
So is Beyonce like the person that you would go like straight for?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like for me, it's like, it's not like straight for like, cause like I am pansexual, but like, as like a woman and like a woman who like has that kind of masculine energy, like Rihanna is it for me. Like if we were out in Vegas and Rihanna was like, come back to my room and smoke and like we could chill. If this nigga was not coming, I'm leaving.
No, we going. And if in that moment I was like, okay, now that we're here, I don't know if I could do it. I'm letting Mick Sykes go. Are you kidding me? Rihanna?
This said heteroflexia bell because when the party of three went in Rome, I was like,
yeah.
Okay, so Alex said, I don't know if there's any men I desire or have desire to donate dick to, but willingness versus desire is the topic.
Right. And hey. So let's...
Oh, like, Julissa said, I'll let Riri do whatever she wants to me, but I ain't dreaming about doing nothing to her.
That's
Same.
That's the willingness versus desire situation, right? Like, okay, is Beyonce the person I would go straight for if she specifically asked me? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's mad shit that I'm not willing to do for the colonial system whatsoever in the colonial industry. But if Beyonce said, Jip Jack, give us a bullshit pop album, please. I'm doing it. It's Beyonce. It's Beyonce. I'm doing it. The fuck? Like, the fuck?
Giselle Knowles Carter.
The fuck? So I don't know what you want from me when it comes to that, right? That's a willingness thing. Now, when it comes,
I was actually, you had it. I'm not trying to cut you off.
Go, because I'm going into it.
This is your segue. Do it.
We all a little gay. We all a little straight. We need to make sure we having fun, right? If you're not having fun, right? Al, you said this is a willingness versus desire situation. If you've been willing to fuck niggas that wanted to fuck you, as long as you had fun, nigga, then continue to do the motherfucking thing.
Because honestly, we talked about the spectrum. Pansexuality is the baseline of mammalian. I'm not even gonna say human, mammalian sexuality. Even some birds.
I'll go as far as to say terrestrial.
Terrestrial.
I can't say nothing for nobody that's extraterrestrial.
Really, like outside of the species, everybody's fucking everybody. Like male bears fillet each other for fun. Literally, like bears of all kinds of like species will suck each other's dicks when they're bored. Like
We've seen
birds are doing it,
we've seen
fish are
Bruno
doing
at
it.
the dog park. Bruno is literally the cum slut of the motherfucking room. Bruno is
Oh yeah, our
literally
dog loves to
licking
suck some dick.
all the dick.
Lick it. He loves to lick some dick.
Like we
Like,
just watched some shit with geese, talking about how geese will mate same sex partners and wind up loving each other more just from the strength of not having kids.
and like loving each other more, us doing like the mating, like they'll do the mating rituals in and out of mating season just because like we're gay and I love you and we don't have goslings to look after.
Right. So like homophobia.
And males like gay penguins will like literally adopt abandoned babies. Like if like their parents, because sometimes like one parent will stay while the other goes to hunt, but one parent might get killed in the hunt, and like they're not occupied, they're not gonna starve to take care of this baby, so they're gonna go out and they might get eaten by a seal. The gays will move right on in and take that baby. Penguins, fucking penguins.
That's true. Homophobia is the only thing that we got. That's the only thing that we got different. And the only reason that's here is colonialism. And people want to always talk, and I'm going to do it, because you know I'm going to do it. People always talking about, oh, but there was, of course, homophobia on the continent and indigenous tribes and aboriginal humans beforehand, da 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 da. Yes. If you actually pay attention
to homophobia?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Not in all of them, not even in most of them. But were there some? Absolutely. Right? Niggas get it wrong too, right? The only difference is other niggas don't let that shit spread. Okay? Other niggas is like, wait a minute, what's that? Right? A lot of the disputes and wars and things of that nature that were fought between tribes were fought because of one, stewardship of the land. Y'all niggas is fucking up our fertility over here. That don't work. Fuck out of here. We gotta take over y'all. Oh, nah, we not getting taken over by nobody. What? Pop. Shut the fuck up. Give me this land. Now it's gonna be good, right? Sometimes it was literally y'all are homophobic and we cannot travel through here as with and our couples that happen to be gay cannot travel through here without experiencing violence from y'all. So fuck y'all. We taking y'all over. That happened more often than anything. Then some hundreds of years before the transatlantic slave trade, white people landed on motherfucking Africa and started incepting the minds with the bullshit. Do you know, like somebody was like, oh, like, we were talking about all kinds of stuff. I'm sorry. Colorism, a thing on the continent. Niggas were afraid of albinos. Niggas were afraid of all manner of light-skinned people. In order for white people to literally touch down on West Africa, so much of that colorism had to be taken out and healed in order for white people to literally land there and not get killed on sight.
Let's get to this comment and then we gotta push on in our thing because like we don't want to keep that too long. Read that.
Yep. To be honest, as a heteronormative society that we all live in, our present time need to put away this colonialism mentality for good in the future. Like our future generation should never be hung up on these gender terms. And also I feel and believe that our future generation should automatically be able to be who they are without announcing labels or having that label in front of their foreheads. It would be late and tired to continue to live the same colonialism society. Ashe, but we can't just live outside of colonialism while colonialism is surrounding us. Like we are surrounded by colonial conditions. We have to destroy colonialism in order for this life that you are, trying to live, and that's essentially what we're trying to do with this podcast, right? Literally every time something we say here makes sense to you, regardless if it makes sense to you and you come down to the same exact conclusions that we do across the board or not, the one thing I know we're going to agree on is that colonialism gotta go. And it's gotta be destroyed. There's no teaching future generations anti-colonialism without teaching them how to destroy it. We can't just be like, okay, so this is the new language we're working with, right? Da 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 da. Because really, what y'all need to understand is that if colonial society reforms to fit the things that y'all think should work, right? Essentially, what's going to happen here in America is going to force colonized people into a new neo-colonial position that we're not going to even see or get out of. Neocolonialism is essentially colonialism in blackface or colonized face. Neocolonialism is a colonized
Is white
person
power and
in blackface, a colonized person taking up the colonial mantle in Obama. Many African presidents out there right now.
like a
So many
black person in a
Brazilian
position
people.
of power in a white system is
Right.
neocolonialism.
Right. Okay, come
Because
on.
the system is still white.
Kamala Harris, neocolonialism.
But let's
Many of these black businesses, neocolonialism. Okay.
So speaking of products of colonialism, let's get into one of our keys. I'm gonna move some of these. There we go, so that people can see. It's blown up. So Bootsy, like we're on the heels of the Derek Chauvin trial. How do you say his last name? Chauvin. White. Whatever.
White. Crack.
And so we got a guilty verdict. We don't know what the sentence is. I ain't celebrating shit. But Bootsy, one of our favorite people here on the Anukai tree, gave his 2 cents on Twitter, and he was like, he lucky he ain't going to jail in Louisiana. Eggplant emoji. Eggplant emoji. So that was a little sus. I'm gonna make it smaller so y'all can see it because I'm making pieces. Oh, that was a little sus. And someone was like, "Is there something you gotta tell us, Bootsy?" And another person, Z-Taylor on Twitter, was like, "You know he was taking pipe in jail, Bootsy. We get it. We been got it.
We been got it."
And then there was a meme. Nobody Bootsy. The bat signal, but it's the
dick.
eggplant. It's the eggplant emoji.
Dick.
And I chose this key. I key on this the key because let's be honest out here. We're talking about willingness versus desire and sexuality as a spectrum. And there are a lot more people on the spectrum and deeper parts of the spectrum than you would think. And there is a thing of conditional bisexuality, like there's no pussy available, so you gonna dive in some booty hole or you gonna suck some dick. And I guarantee you, if a man, like men in general, like beings with testosterone, that whether it's cis, trans, whatever, the need for sex is there, unless you're like someone that is asexual,
right,
or has like different things going on. If you've been in prison, not jail, prison, 3 years,
you yacked or got
sampled,
yacked.
at least you sampled at the very minimum. I mean, I'm being generous here.
You've yacked or you've gotten yacked to high heaven. You've yacked or you've yacked it down. Okay? Now, if the cis heteronormative repression is so deep within you and you don't need that need for sex like that, maybe you didn't get yacked. But if you was up in prison for 3 years, I'm sorry, you yacked somebody or you got yacked. It's that simple.
3 years plus, Bootsy was locked away for 7.
Yacked down.
And I feel all this homophobic rhetoric is him missing his trade up in prison, or his wife up in prison and acting out. I've seen it in the hood. It
happens a lot, actually.
I've seen it, and like when you back in the world, it's not as accepted as it is in the prison environment. Even though that, like, you've discovered in prison, this is what like you're really into,
like you,
or like this, like maybe it's not what you're really like. This also works for you,
right?
But because of colonialism and societal constructs, you can't perform this out in the free world,
right?
And you're gonna lash out in some way. If you're not getting what you desire and what you want, you're gonna lash out.
And this is the thing, y'all have to be communicative before you lash out. Please, and say the whole thing, yo. Like I swear,
if you're not getting food and you need a desired food, you like hangry is real.
Okay, I need to top soon. The conversation is coming. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It's not. I'm
if
never going to
go get dick 3 times a week, there is going like we don't get physical, but we are going to fight. We are going to fight. Like, and like, this is what they just need. Like, keep their serotonin, whatever it is, in check without them pills or that colonial intervention. And I can supply dick. I'd rather them be on dick than Prozac
Can
at the end
someone
of the
can
day.
someone preach? Can someone pass a megaphone? Like all I can say is Ashe Hallelujah and Robo
And that's
Ishiara
common. That's
Karabashea.
common. That's
Because
common.
the thing is, right? People want to talk about the lack of dependence in a relationship. Yes, there should be you should have some high levels of independence in your life. You can't be in a
Hey, Michael.
relationship. What's going on?
Oh, we have a question
Kerwine.
too. So
Okay. But you can't be in a relationship if you don't have a level of independence, right? Like Pat is really good at the handy stuff, right? We'll find the motherfucking, what is it called in the wall? See, I don't even know what
stud.
it's called. We'll find the motherfucking stud. We'll figure out how to work around not finding the stud. I am more of an electrician. Doesn't mean that Pat can't do it. Pat can do it. Pat knows how the shit's wired, right? But I will get it done like that, right? Because like that's where I am super independent. I went to school. I could actually make you a motherfucking cable right now. You know what I'm saying? I could actually fix the short in your quarter-inch cable. I can make you a cable tester. Like I remember all of that shit. It's in here, right? So there, you have to have independence that is going to come and meet and then make this interdependence, not codependence, right? Make this interdependence that makes a unit strong, right? If y'all both so independent that y'all don't need nothing, then it's gonna do this. If y'all
Precisely.
don't have any independence at all, if one person has no independence, right, and the other person has all of it, then this one's running right through them, right? If y'all both have none, then nothing locks. Y'all need y'all both have enough
You need
independence
some
and
common ground. And
something
we
that you
talking
can learn
about
from a
Boosie right
person.
now.
Okay, so
If you missed
but yeah,
it.
Boosie, yeah, as was said, was lashing out crazy because he missed the dick that he was getting or the bourgeois that he was getting, right? And um, it's
You got to
just
be real about
time. Yeah,
what
you
you
just got to
want
be
and what you
real.
desire instead of doing all these studs and
Oh,
shows.
right. And what I wanted to say before I even got into that is you hear a lot that people say, oh, like like certain hoteps and things of that nature say, um, essentially homophobes, black homophobes, that the prison industrial system is breaking the black family not only by taking fathers out of the home but creating homosexuals, right? And it's like what you're seeing is a person with an opportunity, almost forced, not almost, absolutely forced opportunity to come out of their repression because they don't know nobody in there, or even if they do, they all in the same situation. Literally everybody. The need for sex, if you have that need for sexual intimacy, is greater than your need or desire for any of the specifics.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wait, so because we have some questions
okay. Well,
and
one last thing. End of the day, what prison does for these black men that do come back and might continue to indulge in some bourgeois or some dick or whatever have you is allow them some time without that constant oppressive voice of normal society telling them that they can't, right? Because if they truly didn't have the desire to, like if
they
their
wouldn't
desire,
do
they
it.
wouldn't do it. If their desire to not have sex with men outweighed their desire for sexual intimacy, regardless, then there would be no willingness.
I'll say. That's all I got to say. Um,
Okay.
so that this is the question. So Alex here said, Ashe, the education system also plays a role in destroying that colonialism mental programming. That's how I view it as well. Am I correct?
Nope.
Yes. Well,
The education system is a part of that colonial monster. So if you're not doing it at home, it ain't getting done. Unless you are blessed enough to have people who are in the education system, like myself, or like Mick Sykes, that will not necessarily slip some anti-colonial revolution into your child's situation, but will make sure that child understands and is exacerbated when they say some shit.
Mm.
Because sometimes my black kids be like, "That's that white shit," without saying shit, and
Without
I'll be
saying those
like,
words.
you know what I'm saying, and I'll be like, everybody know what that means. The white kids in there took note. Any white teachers took note, and I would dare anybody to argue with that black child, and that's that. That's how we can support. But otherwise, you start doing too much anti-colonial shit in the actual classroom, they catch your
Yeah,
ass.
they'll shut you down. We
Like,
need to produce workers. That's what we're here for. Um,
and reinforce the
if you want to join
colonialism.
us live here on air, I dropped that link
Right,
in the
come on.
chat. Like, so if you want to like the people to see you and like share your opinion, we got a couple more minutes left in this segment. Before we move on, so like feel
Bro,
free to like click that link and hop on. Just make sure your phone is positioned or
landscape.
in landscape. Um,
Any more questions?
can you have a willingness with zero desire? Absolutely.
And that to me, that brings us to our next motherfucking thing.
That child. Actually, it does. Let's just move on
Thank you, Alex, for such a perfect segue. Because my
into our next
God,
segment. And y'all can still jump on if you want to. We're not going to deny you if you hop on. So our next segment is keeping it real, all facts, no printer.
zero printer.
And we're talking about consent. Consent when willingness means yes and when it means no, but I love you.
Okay. I personally cannot develop a sexual relationship with a person
I need
that
to get a
is
drink from
saying
this.
no, but I love you. Right? If that willingness is that, if that desire is on zero, to me, the answer is no. Right? And you know what I'm saying? There's situations where like I would be completely broken. You know what I'm saying? If somebody was like, no, right? Like to that point, right? And it's like there's, experiences that I want to have, you know what I'm saying? Like people that I want to add and things of that nature that if they were like, no, I'd be broken, but I'd be okay. Niggas would still love that person. It's not a big deal. Tell them outright. You know what I'm saying? You don't let your willingness, I don't like your will, like again, if there's willingness but zero desire, are you having any fun? That's actually a legitimate question to you, Al. If there's willingness but zero desire, are you having fun? Because I don't think, based on how math works in my head, I don't think that a person's willingness with zero desire is having any fun in that situation. Zero desire, because to me, if you desire to please that person, then that's at least 1 point for desire.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because you just willing to have sex, because like if somebody wants sex, then why not? But you have no desire and you sitting there stroking whole like,
Because then it becomes work. Then it becomes an
it's a
obligation. And
chore.
then that is not the space in which humans need or like should be conducting sexual or like romantic connected behavior.
I'll show you.
Like I do things for the colony all the time that I have absolutely no desire to do. My willingness to do it is based on money and finances. Like some of the shit I gotta say when I teach and some of the things I want to do, um, cannot happen. Or like I can't say that. Like if I like want to keep my job, do I like desire like would that be my go to? No, absolutely the fuck not. But do you want to be having sex that's like that? Like, do you want to have colonized sex?
Right. Do you want to
Because that's rape.
colonize?
Like in my opinion, that's rape. That's
Same,
rape.
same.
That's rape.
To me, that's not like, to me. There's yeses that are also still nos. Like I've heard yeses that even had like like an like excuse me, an enthusiasm like around it, that I was just like, do you mean that? Like we can have this conversation. Like, do you really want to do this? And then we have a whole conversation, and then we work around some trauma, whatever. And no, shade. I mean, we would end up having, doing it. They'd be like, you know what, I feel so much better right now. Like, I feel comfortable with you. Yeah. And then they would start it. I'm the kind of person that's like, I'm here until you start something, right? There's been mad times I've had opportunities to have sex with niggas that I was just like I need, we gotta you can feel my energy being like, let's motherfucking do this. So come to me, right? I'm very hitch about it. I came 90. Are you coming 10?
That hitch.
Okay, I came 90. Are you coming 10? Like, just come to 10, and then we got it, right? We can go, But if you come in 5, that's not 10. You come at 85, that's not 90. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you're
I'm
enjoying
glad.
the show,
Yeah,
Alexia.
I'm glad. What one thing for you is just,
Alexia.
yeah. One thing for you again is just any system that has been developed in this motherfucking colonial surrounding is colonial. Every charity, every every nonprofit trying to help homelessness, voting, all of it. You'll never have an office, have an official do what it
If
do
white
what you
people have
need.
something to do with it, it's poison.
Even if black people had something to do with it, well, yeah, it's still white people having something to do with it. If it contains any level of bureaucracy, it's probably colonial.
Because consent is sexy.
Period.
Like the parties involved in beyond sex are willing and desire that process is the sexiest sort of like synergy that you can have when people are like involved, even as far as things like we are working on this Anukai concert. And this is one of the like we've had like a couple of projects, like this is one of our projects as a couple of this podcast. But like that kind of synergy is very sexy.
Yeah.
Because we're both willing, we both desire this project to be successful, and like the creative and the artistic outcome is something that like we did this on our phones and like our computers,
Right.
and it's turned out to be something so beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see this, and like so amazing. But because
Yeah.
we are like in it like together, and that's something different. Like if you want to have that kind of sex,
Right.
you gotta evaluate some boxes, and I find myself constantly reevaluating boxes because like a lot of like my things are steeped in suppression, not trauma. I don't have like a lot. I don't have any like traumatic sexual experiences. Like I've never been molested or raped or violated or anything like that as like a child or as an adult. I have been very blessed in that regard. But I do have a lot of like shame and stigma surrounding like sex and sexuality, which is something that like that this person makes me constantly like, examine and evaluate in our relationship and outside because that it bleeds into other things. It bleeds into things that you wouldn't even think it bleeds into.
When I tell you, if you consider yourself a witch and haven't fully internalized as above so below, there's probably a lot of shit you're missing. Um, and not even just in your spirituality, just in terms of literally looking around and observing shit. Because there's connections that are literally made from a macro to microcosmic level, right? So as a couples therapist, one of the first things that I would ask is like, so what is y'all sex life like? Because if there's an issue, a really extreme issue anywhere in your marriage, your sex life is going to tell a lot of the story. You are not like nobody has enough willingness to fuck someone they are actually at odds with. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not willingness for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Unless you being a vindictive bitch and you trying to like poison somebody sexually, and that's
And
you
you
evil and
might be a sociopath.
Yeah, like you evil and sociopathic. But if you're not sociopathic, right? You might have some other mental illnesses, but you're not sociopathic,
That's
right?
a whole nother episode. You might be a sociopath.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to like a person that you can't look at, you can't stick your dick in, and you can't have a dick stuck in you, and you can't like also look in their puss, like or look in their like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I can't,
deep,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I can't at least look at your nose, you know what I'm saying? If I can't at least look at your forehead, even if I'm like I'm not ready for the eyes right now because I still hate you just a little bit. If I can't at least look at your forehead, We not fucking. Me as a super hypersexual person, we not fucking if I can't at least look at your forehead. It's that simple. So, yeah, don't be having sex that you are not desiring whatsoever. That's not it. If you having fun and you know you're gonna have fun, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like you desire to have fun in that moment and you know that the sexual experience will provide that. You might not desire the sex in and of itself, but you desire the fun. That's still desire. Okay. So you have to really you gotta again, this is a lot of shit. This is deep shit. Desire means a lot more than just like desiring that one thing. Like what is it that you might desire about that thing, right? If you have the willingness, some serious willingness, right? If your willingness, right, is at a 5 on the willingness scale, right, not -5 on the desire to willingness scale. If your willingness is on a +5, right, but you would consider your desire on a 0, you got to reevaluate that because that there's something not true there, right? There's a desire there that you're not like speaking. And that means that if it's literally that your willingness is 5 because you know it's going to be fun, but your desire is 0 because of maybe who it is, because of the gender, because of the exact activity, because the one thing that you really want to do might not be featured, you know what I'm saying? Those things, then the desire is a low number, but it's not 0 or it's not in the negatives. See what I'm saying? So like, look into that.
I think we might need to do an after show. We might do a live after show. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so we're gonna do a live after show, but because the people out in podcast land don't like things like over an hour and 30 minutes, we're gonna close this up for y'all out there and
Okay, sorry,
everywhere.
we gotta do it on this one because that's what
I broke my ring, so my new one.
Is that an omen? I'm scared.
I'll be out here exercising, y'all.
Ochosi. Omo Ochosi. Is that an omen?
Oh wait. Okay. Thank you for sitting with us tonight. Make sure you follow us on our social media. If you're watching us out there in the Facebook land, make sure you tune into us on anchor.fm/Anukai. And we're available wherever podcasts are streaming. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that great stuff. Make sure you check us out on IG. We have a great IG page at Anukai Tree, so make sure you follow us there. And if you're listening to us out there in podcast land, make sure you watch us live every Wednesday on Facebook.com/the Anukai Tree. And we'll see you again next week. And that we are season finale. So again, thank you for sitting with us. We love you. Be blessed and peace. And we're gonna be stay with us. If you're watching us now, you got some more questions, you got some real tea. We're gonna do a little after show.
Say Black Power, bro.
Good night, y'all.